of that being the case, and he might actually fall by the wayside and not really seen in the higher tiers of Overwatch, which is a bit of a shame because I've got a soft spot for Torbjorn. As a matter of fact, just as a character, he's so lovable and tiny, just like me.
Just I think coming back to the World Cup itself, what with the actual teams already being showed who's going to play each other. Wow, how do you feel about Australia versus South Korea coming up in the
Oh no! I will be praying that all of South Korea gets food poisoning because of Korean barbecue, but that's probably not going to happen. So, in the interest of realism, I know that our team is strong. There's no denying that. We've shown that before toe with Canada, and we've done that. We've done that twice now, and I know it's a shame that we didn't get our Ashes rematch, which I really wanted, but that didn't end up coming to fruition. If we get a map off of South Korea, I'm pretty sure almost everybody in the country will consider that a victory, because if you look at the roster that South Korea has, it is absurdly stacked, which is absolutely nuts.
I think that's a fair sort of assumption that everyone will generally follow. But with that, let's get into the games, and we will be starting off with Ilios.
One map up, so they'll be aiming to keep that going. An Abysmal Demon has let the barrage go and cleaned everybody out on the side of No Mercy. No Mercy, no team, and that'll be the end of that. Goodness me. That's one way to go in.
Yep, that is actually one way to go in. And just speaking on the actual team compositions, you can see many of the teams are running a Reinhardt, the Zarya-based composition, whereas on the side where you can see Manic actually running the D.Va. Oh wait, no, I was correct. Many teams are running Goat's Comps on this actual point, just because the Goat's Comp is practically meta at this point. The counter to that Abysmal Demon running the actual Pharah to try and counter, and as you could have seen with the actual ultimate, actually got a 5k out of that, so that is tremendous. Now, coming inside, the Goat's Comp gonna rush in, but you can see the Brigade got moved off by Abyssal Demon just in time. Actually comes back with the kill. RPD Manic 79 getting a rocket kill onto Rini. It's a trade onto the point right now with everyone even, but Abyssal Demon trying to goes in, but no, gets killed, gets countered by just in time, ran in his face I assume. Manic 79 gets a kill on Salty left right now, and the Soldier's the only one left on the point. There's 3 on the point right now with the baby D.Va. And Pentagon does get actually D-Max, and Mora is trying to fade it. It's basically a stall right now coming up with the Ghost compositions. But the kill feed right now all red, with Pigeon the only one getting a kill on the Scaz. Akbar gets a kill on Rini, and it seems Abyssal Demon's top tier 5k play secured the point on this map of Ilios.
Indeed, Abyssal Demon, he came straight from Mars. He transcended game universes and just tore the attack limb from limb with rockets. And well, the Doomslayer is hanging up his helmet, nodding in approval from that one. So we are tied at 1. And we move on to the Pit of Doom. Blackbird, we're going to well.
Yes, this is my favorite map in all of Ilios, and I am so happy that we are able to cast this one. Manic 79 and Archimedes running that Roadhog Orisa combo, and Rini and just in time actually running it as well. So we are gonna see who gets to play hooky in the pit of death.
Let's see if the Roadhog and Manic or Just in Time can get themselves a winner from the claw machine and then claw it to be rigged. That Orisa shield got absolutely destroyed, and there is Archimedes getting the better of Just in Time, and that will be the Hog dropped into the Doom pit, and that is put No Mercy on the back foot, and that will get them oh so close to taking the point. And now Rini is, well, gotten booped off by Abyssal Demon, and that will be the side of the big boys accruing percentage first.
The main difference between the two composition, as you can see, Akro is playing the Lucio instead of Anna with, as you can see, Salty Life, and Scaz is playing the Soldier as compared to Pigeon's Pigeon's Diva. You can see a triple tank sort of thing, but now you can see Rini and Just in Time have switched off the actual Risa Hawk combination, which is fair because that composition requires you to set up on the point itself, and with Abyssal Demon shooting rockets doesn't seem to be working. And now they're going for the dive. Really gets the early kill onto Scaz, but Manic 79 gets a hook onto Just in Time. Pigeon gets the kill on Centurion. They are now down the Mercy and the Res, whereas Rapist has used his Res. Manic 79 popping off, getting through 3-4 kills. This Roadhog seems to be working against the actual composition of the dive. Here's another hook. There's another kill on Princel, and Manic 79 on the back of his top tier Roadhog plays continues to hold the point, ticking up to 55%.
Manic was probably a pro at second bass fishing. He's getting hooks all day, but instead of fish, he's getting the opposition, and they are being dragged into the scrap heap. And while the side of No Mercy, they don't really have all that much. They do have the Nano Boost on deck. They will have the Barrage very soon too, from on the back of Prince Ali. But if you look at the big boys, they are loaded for bear, and will probably be looking to get those to use. And the Nano Boosted Wizard is being booped all the way back by Manic and his whole hog. Goodbye and good night. Manic is a maniac, as it were. He's single-handedly helped the big boys to be absolutely colossal and hang on to this point. And No Mercy, they are on borrowed time. They might not even be able to touch at all.
No, as you can see, Just in Time has just switched on to the Tracer and able to actually touch the point. Here's another hook. Manic 79 gets Just in Time. It's a 5v6 right now. Can this monkey get any value out of it? No, he's not getting very. But Raze, in the meantime, managed to get the rest on Just in Time. It's right now, I think 5v6 really gets a kill on Archimedes. Here comes the Mirage, gets a kill on Manic 79. The actual carry is now dead. Akpo gets the boom on Pigeon into the pit. And Chess gets a kill on Prince Ali. Centurion gets a res on the Manic 79. And the Roadhog is back and getting another kill on Just in Time. So really gets a kill on Abyssal Demon. Chess gets a kill on Rini and Raiders. And as you can see, on that back, they managed Big Boys and etc. has managed to win.
How big was that? If Manic's not the player of the game, I will be disappointed. Oh, it's Abyssal Demon. That is a worthy substitute, because this is the play that we came into, I believe.
Yep.
A huge clean out, and that is the Barrage being like the broom and sweeping the opposition away. And No Mercy were no more at the end of that. That will be Ilios going to the big boys that are big, etc. And we will move on to the next map, which will be Route 66.
As you can see on the well itself, the reason why Rini switched off to the actual dive composition is, as I previously said, is due to the fact that the Orisa Hog combination generally is only a composition you want to use on the first time you're attacking, just because you need to set up on point. And that's how the composition works. But with the help of the Diva rather than the actual soldier, with that extreme amount of burst damage with the rocket shooting and alternating between the defense matrix that can absorb nearly basically an eternity amount of damage, big boys were able to just break that 700 HP seal incredibly easy and then win the point off that.
It was a really coordinated effort, and I can't say it enough. Manic, man, he single-handedly just ran over any attack that the side of No Mercy were able to throw at them.
I was expecting the actual nano boost onto the monkey, just because that is most likely the most prominent target, but that whole hog to push him off, and when he tried to jump back and continues to get pushed off just because at different ranges, Roadhog's ultimate is more moving targets rather than actual high amounts of burst damage, and actually getting a kill onto him was not the surprising part, but the kill onto Ratis that was with the Mercy, actually, that was the most surprising part. Surprisingly enough, Mercy could not fly out of the range from that whole hog and immediately died in the pit with Manic, basically securing that fight off just one ultimate.
And if you're a hog, man, you will be laughing all the way to the bank off of something like that, because they're so rare to get that much value off of an ultimate, which, for all intents and purposes, is less about doing damage and more about knocking your opposition back, just basically being crowd control and letting everybody else do the rest. But, if stuff like that can happen, you'll be well, laughing and then taking a breather and then having a happy day.
Exactly. I think as time passes on with Roadhog seeing less amounts of play, people tend to underestimate the power of Roadhog. If you're generally a good Roadhog and still understand the basics behind him, you can still reliably one-shot 200 HP heroes, including Anna herself. So he is still a very viable hero. He's just the only problem he has is the fact that he's essentially an ult battery if you farm him enough. And in this instance, they did not farm him and underestimated him, so Manic just essentially popped off. But enough about the map on Ilios. Let's have a proper casting of Route 66. We will have, I believe, No Mercy on the defense with Big Boys, etc. attacking. What do you think about this map? What compositions do you think are going to be coming out on the 3 points of Route 66?
I actually really love this map. Not only is it cool to look at, but it's one of my favorites to play. But that's mainly because of the first point, which is outside of Big Earls, which is mainly the first point of contention. We might see a lot of Sombra, especially trying to wreak havoc in amongst not only denying health for the opposition, but basically leaving any attack or defense line dead in the water when the EMP goes off. And if the payload actually gets stalled out, depending on where it stands, it'll be extremely difficult for an attack to really get going. So I'd say Sombra should be an integral part should anybody on the server choose to run her in their compositions. What say you, Blackburn?
I think that's generally a very fair assumption. Sombra right now very much in the meta as well, with as well as her boss Doomfist now, essentially being the two most played DPS heroes, I believe, in the actual World Cup, just because the amount of power and value they provide is currently very tremendous. Doomfist being able to one-shot people and Sombra being able to hack a Reinhardt shield or a tank from literally not being able to save himself. So generally the combo I would believe is Sombra hacks something on the lines of a Ana. And the Ana does not have the sleep dart, does not have the actual Bionate to save her, and Doofus just basically cleans up with an easy seismic slam, uppercut, shoot the face, and then escape with the rocket punch. So yeah, I believe that we will be seeing more of a dive-based attack with Doomfist Sombra if they are skilled enough and they have been practicing it. So that's why I believe we'll be coming out the attackers. In terms of the defense, we might see a Reinhardt composition just because Reinhardt has been always tried and true on Big Earls, but I'm not going to be too surprised if they actually even run a dive-based defense as well, just because of the fear of the Sombra itself. With the Winston, at least you have some level of survivability with the fact that you can jump out of the way if you're playing against the Sombra. Whereas if you're Reinhardt, your only real way of actually stopping the hack is to shift your shield. But in the time that you take to shift your shield, you might take an extreme amount of burst damage that might just as well kill you. So yeah, might see dive-based defense coming up from No Mercy, I believe.
It looks like that might be the case. We do see the Sombra and the Soldier on the field, and Rennie playing a little bit of a mind trick for everyone, but looks like Rennie will be going with the Winston. The attackers will be Big Boy. I know what the etc. stands for now. Big Boys and Big Friend. That's the
Big
full
Boys and Big Friends. All right, then I think we'll just keep it to Big Boys for now.
The big boys, because they are big and very boyish and very bully. We see a pretty stock standard to set up, but Skaz will aim to be the X factor, because if a Widowmaker is extremely sharp and Abyssal Demon can keep everybody distracted enough, he will run roughshod on the entire defense of No Mercy, and that might end up being the case. But Prince Ali is extremely far forward as the Cloak Sombra and will be calling out anything that he finds, because he's completely stealth now and nobody can see him.
I keep my head down.
He'll definitely be calling this out to the team and getting the defense of No Mercy to shift accordingly, and we will see our first engagement very soon.
The duel between the main thing right now is whether or not Prince Ali is going to be able to actually get his ultimate extremely fast while keeping Skaz in check on that actual Widowmaker, due to the fact that Rini for the most part will not be having getting have the resource to actually deal with it, just because he has to hold the front line. But that's really about it. Just in time, actually nearly close to death, but managed to get healed, and Pigeon gets the early kill onto Skaz right now. The defense right now 65 on the point, and Pigeon is the only one on the cart. Archimedes gets a crate back onto the kill with Salty Life, and Skaz decides to switch off onto the Tracer rather than keep playing the Widowmaker. Manic 79 gets a kill on the Prince Ali. There is no hack coming in for this fight, and Big Boiz continues to hold the point with Just in Time just stalling right now. Most probably just gonna run into someone, try and get his ultimate, and yep, he's easily taken out by Osbeast, and this point, and first point with a very fast time of about 2 minutes 35 seconds should go in the way of Big Boiz.
They're not allowed to get to touch it on the side of No Mercy. Nope, they're wanting to basically concede the first point and basically set up the second, and they are looking to do exactly that. A couple are up at the hotel. Prince Ali is trying to get away clean and has ended up doing so, but with the rockets flying in overhead from Abyssal Demon, and we know what he can do. Be extremely wary.
Prince Ali now, you can see, just trying to get to the back lines for all intents and purposes. Yes, finds the target, he wants to dive, but now Archimedes just gets nano boosted, trying to keep anyone there. Pigeon did get DMAC, and will subsequently use the bomb just to get DMAC. Archimedes takes out Rini. Here comes the
Big EMP.
It's a big EMP, and subsequently just Just in Time gets a follow-up kills and decides to actually toss in the tactical visor. I believe that was a bit of a not very needed, just because there were about 3 kills already on the board for No Mercy, and he could have potentially saved that for the next fight.
Maybe, but might have really wanted to prevent any of the team from advancing, and just just sort of thinking, oh, I'll get one quick enough, it should be fine. And there's a bit of a skirmish between Skaz and Pigeon. And Pigeon came close to bagging the Tracer, but it was not to be. And now it's basically just buying the time. A Primal Rage has been put out in the garage there and has knocked the entire opposition of the Big Boys 4-6 in the small confines. And it looks like the defense of No Mercy is slowly being battered back in the most literal sense. And Skaz will prevent Prince Ali from cheering any further. And there's a data boost onto Archimedes just for, I'd say just for show more than anything else, and trying to jump into the back line. And Just in Time is definitely still a big enough threat to use it on.
A bit, the reason why the ground was conceded was just because Just in Time was retreating, and Rini decided to actually go in and try to stall the cart by himself. Essentially, Winston by himself not gonna last very long, and now we're in the predicament where essentially Big Boiz had 4 ultimates to use, and they have basically expended all 4 of them just to cap the point. But with the time bank of 2 minutes 35 capping second point with over 4 minutes going into third point, I believe that investing those 4 ultimates was quite well worth it. Moving into third point here.
And if you look at the side of No Mercy, there are a couple of ults online. Keep an eye on Just in Time and Salty for Life. They have both of their respective ultimates, so we might see the return of the old Granny's Goggles ult composition, which is the Nano Boost and the Tactical Visor. I wanted that to catch on, I really hope it caught on. And it looks like the side of No Mercy is wanting to gather up and try to get the attack to really stand down. Skaz is fallen by the wayside, Just in Time is assisted as well, and QZ Beast on the Zenyatta is the only reply, and just like that, that defense is stopped at its tracks, and those 2 ults are well worth it.
And as you can see, the rotation of ultimates coming out for No Mercy was fairly good. Just in Time now, after finishing using his Tactical Visor, decides to go for a Goats composition, with the exception of Salty Life still playing that Ana rather than the Mora. So a Goats-based defense coming out for them, which is fairly interesting. interesting. The main thing they are going to have to be aware of is a triple DPS comp that potentially, or a huge fire grenade hitting 3-4 people, and subsequently, yep, the growth comp just got destroyed by an animate from Akmo. Huge play coming out from him.
That is a giant play coming out from him, and this cart will keep rolling on. Aside from the small hiccup, it's basically been uncontested for its entire duration. It looks like they're just moving towards the spawn on the side of the big boys, trying to go from big to giant to gargantuan, and now No Mercy are on their last stand. There is the self-destruct thrown in from Matic. Will claim just in time in Prince Ali. Sorry, Prince, you have been dethroned. Matic did end up claiming another pair from the mech there, and Pigeon is the only diva to reply. And it is only a matter of time before this map is capped out, I am sure. Pigeon is only playing the clock now, and that will be the aim for the rest of the squad of No Mercy. Just play the time and try to prevent the cart from finishing the map proper.
Prince Ali throwing the actual Graviton in, but Osby's comes back with the Transcendence of the Transcendence, and holy shit, here comes a charge from Archimedes, getting the pin on the Prince Ali as he came out with it, being actually boosted, and here comes the Shadow, huge Shadow coming out, really 4 or 5 people on the ground, but is it going to be enough? Really gets a kill on the counterpart Archimedes right now, and gets a kill on the Cruise Beast. Manic 09 gets a counter kill on the Winnie, and Skaz gets a kill, Assaulted Black Manic gets a kill on the Raiders. Pigeon is the only one left on the card. Are they going to be able to dislodge him in time before the defense manages to spawn back in? No, as you can see, Vinny about to come back in. Is he going to be able to make it in time? Pigeon's the only one left. They have to kill him if they want to cap this card. Vinny back on the card now. And the defense trying to stay on this card as long as possible. Abyssal Demon getting 2-3 kills with that actual ultimate. Archimedes gets a kill on Vinny, Skaz gets a kill on Prince Ali, and they will cap it. But a very great stall coming out of No Mercy. I think they stalled it for about a minute or so, which is quite significant.
Minute and a half, and that is a lot of time bought. They've been bought to under a minute of the time bank. And Blackburn, can you breathe? That fight looked like it went on forever, and it took a lot out of it, but it was totally worth it. Now, for the side of No Mercy, they'll want to match that and then some. Maybe get even more time bank on the clock, but on a map like Route 66, if you end up getting stalled at any point, especially the last one, it could basically be the death nail for your squad on attack, depending on how it all pans out.
Very true. Now we're gonna see the compositions coming out from both teams. I believe if Abyssal, I'm assuming Abyssal Demon is not going to stay on that actual Orisa and switch on to a proper DPS. No, they are actually sticking with the Abyssal Demon, actually playing the Orisa. The DPS not playing the Orisa. That's fairly interesting. And so we're going to be having a Orisa. We're going to have a 2-2-2 combo with Orisa and Diva. Orisa Diva being more effective at staying alive compared to the Orisa Hog, which is a more offensive composition. And Archimedes playing the tried and true Reaper. Reaper not actually being seen since Dallas Fuel ran it in, I think, against Boston Uprising back when they back in the last stage of Overwatch League. So this is going to be interesting to see how much Archimedes is going to actually get work done. But on the side of No Mercy, are we going to see it? Are we going to see the Bastion Orisa combination with?
We're going to set sail, Blackbird. We're going to see a pirate ship.
And the pirate ship coming out. And we'll see whether or not Archimedes is going to be able to beat through this large amount of hunk and metal from the team of No Mercy. And here come Pigeon just scouting right now. And yes, he does manage to see the defense up there. And Manic 09 is about to actually get feedback. Abyssal Demon getting completely destroyed by Rinny on the attack there. The Bastion seems to be working, and they are now a man up. Archimedes is getting really low on that Reaper right now. Is he able to get out? Yes, he does get healed. And it's currently fine. Manic 09 does get defect, however, and just in time, currently just in sentry mode, just trying to fight it. Are they going to be able to kill Archimedes? Yes, they managed to kill Archimedes, but Skaz gets the counter kill on the just in time. Raze gets the rest on just in time, and now it's basically a 6v2, 3, 4 people on the point right now. Just in time, going the tank mode, getting the kill on the QZ Beast, and Abyssal Demon is the only one left on the high ground with Akvo and the two supports. Here comes the tactical visor just to clean up. Akvo gets a kill on the Race. They are now down the Mercy, and Skaz gets a kill on Prince Ali. Rini gets a kill on the Skaz right now, and defense might be holding right here. Alchemy is finding Rini right now. Rini should lose this matchup. Yes, he does lose, and surprisingly enough, the defense managed to actually hold coming in and buying themselves about 2 minutes off the clock.
Oh, that was an elongated fight that was balanced on the edge of a blade, or in this case, was on the edge of a Bastion turret. And as soon as Just in Time did go down, he did use the tank form, did do a lot of damage, but that did not mean much. And Archimedes was definitely the first to truly capitalize, and he definitely won the day at the end. And he does have the Death Blossom at the ready, and he will be getting the call to use it soon, because if you look at the defense being set up around Big Earls, they'll definitely be calling this out. There goes the self-destruct to force the defenders to disperse. Did not get much damage, but it was worth it at the end of the grand scheme of things. There is the nano boost onto Archimedes, but he ends up going down to the hands of Rini, and Matic will avenge the fallen member of Gabriel Reyes. There is Rini being brought back into the fight by Reyes, and it's still a tip-for-tap fight, but the cart is barely moving. It's moving at a little bit of a snail's pace. Mac's been put to bed for the time being, and now Rini's really wanting to make the stand go. There is the supercharger on the ground and in full effect. And Mac's been ejected and definitely did have a point of attack from Archimedes. Took out the supercharger and the owner of it, and Just in Time is nano boosted, extremely angry, and has a giant tank form to use. But now all his compatriots have fallen down around him, and yet again in another elongated fight, the side of the big boys are hanging on, and we're down to under a minute.
The actual there is the damage, there is the movement on the cart itself coming out with that pirate ship, but there is no follow-up. They are getting a lot of their members, they're getting a lot of the members of Big Boys down to essentially death, but they're not having the follow-up to pursue the kills, and with that, they have decided to go on to a dive composition. This is probably their last resort. Is Akbo gonna get taken out? He's literally won right now, and decides to nano boost Skaz. Akbo is still alive in this fight. Alchemy is right now the only one low, and Pigeon gets D-Mac. Rini is going to be in a lot of trouble by himself right now on the field without the Diva supporting him, and Alchemy takes advantage and gets a kill on the Rini. A Missile Demon gets a kill on Prince Ali, and this should be a quick, hopefully a quick reset coming out on the side of No Mercy. With just 10 seconds left on the clock, is anyone going to be able to touch? Rini might be able to touch Salty Life, Selling for Life, the only one left does touch the point. Pigeon continues to touch the point as Baby Diva, and yes, the stall should, and overtime should be coming out. They are not good, and there comes the subsequent kill just to get a longer respawn time for the actual Diva. And here comes the net, and here comes the tactical visor. Is gonna just clean up. Here comes the Diva bomb. Everyone's just using the ultimates, just stopping anyone on the cart, and No Mercy gets completely stomped on Route 66 and just held to first point.
No mercy, no progress, and no advancement. That was the end of that. And a stonewalling defense from the big boys being, well, exactly what they say on the tin. Being big and big enough that you can't get past. And as you see the play of the game from Matic, he'd definitely be my man of the match, my player of the game, my MOM, or my POG. It'd definitely be the cornerstone for that one, but Archimedes shouldn't be sold short either.
Very much true, but I believe they stayed on that Bastion composition for a bit too long. After the elongated first fight that took over 1 minute 30 seconds to about 2 minutes, they should have already known that that there is the Soldier and the Reaper, so they possibly could have switched off earlier to a dive-based attack with the Pharah, as you saw with Just in Time playing the Pharah, and possibly got the cap onto first point, just because Soldier's not a very good counter to Pharah if she stays out of the range of Soldier's general vicinity. So possibly if they switched earlier, they could have possibly capped the first point, but that all said and done, Big Boys is currently up 2-0 in the series.
And as this is a best of 5, if the next map goes to them, that will be the end of the series for this evening. And well, No Mercy have had little flashes of brilliance, don't get me wrong, but other than that, it's been big boys all the time, and they've basically been putting on a show as to how to play as a team and how to best use your pieces in this big game of Overwatch.
General problem coming out of No Mercy is either one, the composition and knowing when to switch off it, as you saw with the Bastion composition at Route 66. They stayed on it for far too long, getting not as much value or understanding thoroughly how the comp should be played, or generally how the team interacts. As you can see, man, a lot of their players were getting really low, but they just weren't getting the coordination to follow up on those kills when the Bastion did the absurd amount of damage. So hopefully, No Mercy does pick up on these small little issues that they have and possibly start the reverse sweep coming into the ever so aptly named Dronamura.
Oh, we go to the much rarer scene, Hanamura, but a sign of, well, a lot of change in the air and a little bit of curiosity, because a lot of teams in Australia have had a little bit of trouble on Hanamura, at least in the games that I have seen. Sometimes it'll either snowball directly to second, or they'll stomp on the first point and then just get stonewalled at the second point, not even getting a third. And it's either a tale of they roll right through the map or they get held up.
Exactly right. Basically, almost all 2CPs have a general issue with either being extremely one-sided for either team. But hopefully, we will see either both teams doing extremely well, going more than 2 points, or hopefully just better team fights. But just to give you a general breakdown of what compositions you might see on this map, we'll start off with the attack. Generally with attack, you have seen GOAT's compositions, especially with Dallas Fuel, with their rise in stage 4, generally running the Brigitte, Reinhardt, and more or less a pseudo version of the GOAT's composition, and basically rush to the first point of Hanamura, due to the fact that it is quite close and Lucius Speed Boost will get you all the way there. You can use Defense Matrix just to cross the actual gap to prevent all damage, and then your Reinhardt shield should be close to about 2000 and should be more than enough to hold the point and scrap it out there while the defense tries to get in on it. But we have also seen dive-based compositions going into the attack, a double sniper, basic dive, Pharah, so there is quite a lot of versatility on this map. And on the side of defense, you can see Orisa generally on the top right high ground as a bunker composition to potentially just stop anyone from coming through the small window, as well as basically making a kill box. Philadelphia Fusion generally ran that strat. And the other composition that has seen some level of prominence is actual dive-based defense. With the amount of natural cover surrounding the actual area and to the way to the point, dive-based defense is incredibly possible. I've run it myself in a number of teams that I played for to a large amount of success. So not too surprising if we would see a dive-based defense here coming out.
We'll wait and see what members of the hero pool are chosen by the 12 combatants in the server. We do have the big boys choosing to go on attack, and your defenders will be No Mercy. And No Mercy saying, well, no mercy on the field, and they're going with the traditional GOATS composition of Zarya, D.Va, Moira, Lucio, Reinhardt, and Brigitte. And the big boys are in the arcade waiting for the doors to drop, but they do have the luxury to sort of play around their hero choices and see who they're choosing to go with the opening stanza. And we will see Abyssal Demon sticking with the Pharah, it would seem like, and, well, knowing the form that he's been on, especially on Ilios, you can't really blame the guy. And Skaz decided to go with the Tracer. We do have a couple of good tags backing him up with Matic and Archimedes, the Zarya and Reinhardt. The goats are down, and here we go.
This is going to be an extremely fast fight coming into the first point. Goku decides to go in, going huge. Are they going to get killed? Yes, Prince Ali gets a kill on Archimedes right now and decides to continue to push Matic 79. Matic 79 getting killed right now. Skaz 1 gets the 1 HP, decides to back. This guy's to back up. The whole point of Ghost composition, even if they are on the defense, is to be extremely aggressive, as you saw right there. But Scash managed to get the counter kill onto Salty Life, so it's 5v6 right now with basically everyone on the side of Big Boys actually having respawn by now. So it's on the job of the defense to stay alive long enough for the Lucio to come back. Here comes the Pulse Bomb, not getting anything, but here comes the subsequent charge. Archimedes gets a kill on the Rini right now, and it's 5v6 in favor of Big Boy. Scaz gets a counter kill onto Just in Time. Salty Left gets the kill onto Macbo. 5v6, 5v4, I would say, sorry. Abyssal Demon gets a kill on the Raiders. 5v3 on the point, and the counter respawns coming out of Big Boys, and the kill coming out from Scaz manages to actually let Big Boys cap the point with a very respectable time of 2 minutes 50 seconds.
It'll be 2 minutes and 44 or so when the time actually comes. We have 6 minutes and 44 seconds, and if this form will keep up, there's going to be no chance for No Mercy to stop it. But it almost fell apart as soon as the defense of No Mercy rolled out of the arcade and rolled right over. Using the element of surprise, Prince Ali will drop out Centurion. That is a huge chunk of the team taken out of the fight. Skaz has replied in turn, blowing 2 up with the Pulse Bomb and rolling 1 down with the Pulse Pistols. Akmo has bolted really out of the fight with the Bionade. Now it's only a matter of time. Boone and the Lucio there with Salty Life are just trying to buy time on the point. And they did get a third on the side of the Big Boys. And, well, now it's starting to taper out for No Mercy. They're starting to get an actual defense on the second point, but it got extremely tight there and had the potential to be really, really scary.
The early kill that Prince Ali managed to actually get onto the Mercy was probably the reason why the Ghost composition actually managed to snowball that and actually continue to hold the point. And now we're moving on back to the actual thing. You can see really switching off the Reinhardt, going with Winston just for more versatility and more movement, and going for a more classic dive-based defense against what Big Boys is running. Abyssal Demon should get easily killed, yes, just because he does not have the Mercy with him. Akmo deciding to play the Ana, rather, and Centurion on the Lucio. Abyssal Demon not gonna have that much of constant healing, so he is gonna have to play a bit more passive when trying to attack this point. A minute, close to about 2 minutes bought off the time bank right now, and Archimedes is getting ready to push in once again. They are running a D.Va Reinhardt based composition, but no, as I say that, Rini got a bit too aggressive, getting killed by Abyssal Demon. It's a 5v6 starting on this fight right now, and they do, even in 5v6, they decide to invest the actual nano boost onto Archimedes. A bit of a wasted ultimate there, and Boone comes back with the kill, but it did manage to get Raiders to actually use the Kamehameha coming out of him. Let's see whether or not No Mercy are able to actually get any more ultimates out and managing to build their own ultimate. Boone getting D-Mech will use his self-destruct just to get a re-mech in right now, and for the most part, the Big Boys right now just stacking ultimates. They basically almost have everything with the Asylum Akmo on that actual Ana. And yes, they have 5 ultimates. Let's see if they can put it to some good use. Abyssal Demon getting seriously low right now, and Archimedes using the actual ultimate, but does get counter kill by Just in Time. Scaz uses the Pulse Bomb, and Centurion uses the beat drop beat to try and stall the point, try and just keep everyone topped off. They are basically invested all 5 ultimates into this fight. Are they going to be able to do it? They're about to cap it. They're close to it, and Boone is the only one left on the point. Raze just come back. Salt for Life back on the point right now, but C9, they managed to actually get all the kills. Just in Time did not manage to get back on the point, and with a respectable time of just, I believe, 3 minutes 30 seconds or so, Big Boys caps it.
3 minutes and 33 seconds. 3 threes. Sweet. They will be extremely happy with that on the side of the Big Boys. And that's basically laid down the gauntlet. You have to finish the map if you want to keep playing, because the lead is in Big Boys' favor 2 maps to 0. And, well, if they lose the map on the side of No Mercy, that will be their night done and dusted. And in amongst that elongated fight, all it took, in my opinion, was the distraction and then the pulse bomb from the Tracer there, just to stick one of the high value targets. And the Moira in that composition is one of the highest value. I'd say here the Moira or the Brigitte would have been the highest value targets to go after. And just in time, had the chance to touch the point, especially with the speed boost of the rally that you do get. It's minuscule, but it will definitely help in a situation like that. Just couldn't get to it. I literally saw his feet like drop down onto the point just as the timer ran out. So he was in the right state of mind to do it, but just sadly was not close enough. And no mercy, you have 30 seconds. Figure out how you were going to reply to what just went down. And I know you've been practicing Doomfist as of late, Mr. Blackburn, and we were seeing Prince Ali tease him. I wanted to stay on the Genji and maybe use a little bit of aggression to try and cut through the defense.
Essentially, they're running a DP. Yep, they're basically running ghost compositions. This No Mercy basically running ghost compositions left, right, up, down, center on both defense and offense. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to break this. I believe that Big Boys had a read on this. They're going to run it and have subsequently chosen to run Abyssal Demon and Scaz on basically some of the counters on it. Here comes an early charge out of Rini. Is he going to get any value out of it? Is he going to get taken down? Yes, Scaz manages to take it down off that aggressive charge, and now Scaz, the Reaper, just reaping the souls of everybody. He's got 3 kills. Boom, the only one getting a kill out of No Mercy.
That's the call.
The Archimedes, but Archimedes now has his ultimate up. Compared to Rini, who is only 44%, that was an extremely quick time for Archimedes to build that Earth Shatter, and I don't believe Rini's going to see this coming. So it's going to be on the back of Archimedes' actual ultimate to see whether or not they can possibly win this fight. Fight one-sided.
It will get through it single-handedly, but he just has to lay the time, and there he goes. He's put the hammer down just in time. Did get rid of Abyssal Demon. That's a huge damage deal off the table. And Archimedes, although he did get a charge and kill Salty for life, ended up paying for it. And the healer will avenge him. And Centurion will drop just in time. So that's another Brigitte taken off of the table and out of the fight. There is Scaz with the Death Blossom. Did claim rest, but that will be enough of that. Prince Ali will halt the movement of Gabriel. And now it is only a matter of time before things are evened up. The Gravitas Surge does go out from Manic, and Solid for Life Boom will eat the Particle Cannon. And this fight will conclude with the Big Boys coming out on top. We're running to just about 2 minutes and 15, and not even a third accrued for No Mercy. But if you look at their ultimates, they will have their best chance going into this fight, Blackburn.
Manic, essentially the carry for the team of Big Boys in act mode. Notice that decides to nano boost him, and Manic 7-9 1v3 the entirety. Here comes the shadow, but Archimedes read it like a book, manages to actually stop it, and Abyssal Demon coming in with the Riptide getting 2 kills, and here's another clean, easy fight, one for the side of Big Boys. 1 minute 40 seconds left on the clock. Manic 7-9, the carry, 41% on his ultimate. Archimedes and Centurion both have it up. On the other side, you have Prince Ali and Boone having that Diva Zarya combination. That's going to have to be the deciding factor in this upcoming fight of whether or not they are going to cap this point. Right now, they are quite together. You can see 3, 4 people together. Is Prince Ali going to have the biggest grab on the side? He's going to have to if they're going to want to cap this point. Here comes a counter shot, but Archimedes gets completely countered. Here comes a grab right now. He only gets Archimedes, surprisingly. That's only one person. I think he managed to kill him before he gets set. Nano boost and continuously lives on. Scaz gets a kill on Vinny. Manic 79 gets a kill just in time. Boone goes the Deeper Bomb, gets a kill on Manic 79. Crucial kill, but right now all the kill feed is essentially red. And for the next fight, it might be a 5v6, but Manic 79 does have his own Graviton coming back into this fight. On the side of No Mercy, they're going to have to rush this fast. 45 seconds. This is essentially that last fight. Are they going to be able to crush the defense of Big Boys before Manic 79 gets back? That is the main question right now. And Prince Ali decides to go onto the Pharah.
They definitely really want to do it. Now Prince Ali will be the X Factor. There's no hero to really deal with her because there are no his scares on deck. The Graviton was used by Manny, but got chopped up. There goes the huge shadow from Archimedes. Abyssal Demon and the counterpart of Scaz put on a giant fireworks show and stopped the attack in its tracks. We're down to 10 seconds. And, well, judging from the positioning, even Prince Ali will try as he might, but he will not be able to touch it. Grab the broom. The big boys have cleaned out No Mercy 3 maps to 0. GG's are exchanged, and that will be the set done and dusted.
Unfortunately, No Mercy still has that issue of not being able to communicate well enough or run the team composition well enough that they could really focus targets or gain enough value of killing one and subsequently killing another. They are actually getting a lot of the early picks starting fights. They're getting a lot of the early kills in starting fights, but they're just not being able to capitalize on that and really push as a 6v5, and that just gave Abyssal Demon and Manic 79 the chance to just continuously build their ultimates and try and potentially frag out. All in all, a very, very strong showing coming out of the big boys, and I for one, I'm very impressed by what I just saw.
I'm a big fan of the big boys, and I'm pretty sure you can attest to that as well, Blackbird.
All right, thank you very much for watching. That is it for this matchup between Big Boys and No Mercy, with Big Boys getting the clean sweep of 3-0, crushing the dreams of the potential reverse sweep of No Mercy. But now let's get on to the MVPs. Who is the MVP in your opinion? I think we both generally have the same MVP. But let's start with you. Who do you think is the MVP coming out for Big Boys?
My man of the match, my player of the game, I want to say it, my POG, my player of game would have to be Matic. No question. It was an integral part in a lot of the attacks and defenses, and even with his giant hero pool of tanks, he was a menace on every single one of them. There was him setting up ultimates for his DPS. There was also the full-blown knockback on the opening map of the Mercy and the Winston. The Winston that was nano boosted, by the way. So there's a huge amount of value taken off of the table. And I know the rest of the team did well, but I'd say Matic should really get his due, and he'd be my player of the game.
I would have to agree with you with Manic79 being very much the player of the Pogs, as you call him, the best player on this team. But if we have to each pick one that is not subsequently counters the other, I am going to go with Abyssal Demon. Abyssal Demon having huge plays, as you can see, player of the game with that Pharah on Ilios, subsequently being able to boot people into the well. He played the Junkrat, getting 2-3 kills every time with the tire, and being all in all getting a ton of value from the DPS hero he plays. So that is going to be my MVP if you're choosing Manic79.
That's definitely a fair call, and he would have been Abyssal Demon would have definitely been my second in command there. But that will conclude our broadcast for this evening. Do you have any parting words, Blackburn?
Very much just great games, and thank you for watching. I will be casting again for another match at 8:30, so do tune in.
Fantastic, and that will be where I will bow out until being told otherwise. My name is Justin, aka Cyberwaste. Good night, happy fragging, hang around till 8:30 for the next matchup, and be the best hero you can be. Good night.